And welcome everyone to our second episode of the Last of Us Spoilercast. It would have been the third, but I couldn't. I had no way of doing it.
You flaked out. Don't be.
I had no workable TV. Let's put it that way. Just like, oh, cool, my TV and everything is in my kitchen, taking up my kitchen because they are doing.
Sounds like first world problems to me. Come on.
It's very much a first world problem, but it's
okay.
Just like, cool, I can't even download it to watch it on a TV. And I wasn't going to watch it on my phone, right? I hate doing that stuff. I despise it. Especially for a show like this, I'm like, no, this needs to be watched on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I have zero qualms about watching stuff on my phone, but like this was kind of like, if I gotta do it, I'll watch it on the iPad, a little bit. Because
iPad, I can get away with iPads. They're decent. It's just the phones. It's so small and everything's. I
got the iPad Pro, so it's like it's got a big screen, so it's
It's my tablet's a decent size, but it's not my ideal way.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I have a 70-inch TV. I definitely would like to utilize that.
Exactly. Well, what's the point in having a massive TV than watching crap on your phone? I don't actually know if I can say that word. I'm going to edit that out. Just make it.
To be honest with you, like when we got that TV, I was really excited, but then I quickly realized that we're going to be watching a lot of YouTube Kids on that. So I'm going to be watching stuff on the iPad Pro while they get to watch Blippi in high definition. So
yeah, something's gone
quickly
wrong
disappointed.
there.
Quickly
the hierarchy of power in your household's not right.
Oh, it's never changed. What are you talking about? It's always been. She's always been at the top of the hierarchy. So I have like that.
But now the kids are above you. Like, man, that's not right.
Look, I mean, look, that's how it goes. I mean,
you need to assert dominance somehow. Right?
Oh, I do. When it comes to gaming.
Do you? Okay, it doesn't sound like it. Sounds like someone else's.
Sounds like something's been tied in knots, So it's okay.
But anyway, I'm Mitch. You can follow me on all the other places by following the link tree in description for all the 692 places, and of course, I'm joined by Sean.
Yeah, and you can only follow me on Instagram at @MarvinTheMartian_12.
So, right, episode 3. If you heard the dog barking, I apologize. I don't know why he's gone off, but he decided to go off for 3 barks, and that was it. That was.
I mean,
I don't understand why.
He's like the kid. He's the fourth party.
Yeah. He's a funny one. But yeah, episode 3. No dogs in this, unfortunately. Thank God, actually. That would have made this episode even sadder.
Yeah, there's such a downer.
Like, God,
But it like kind of goes along with the TV. I think that had to go that way, in kind of a depressing, like it to be. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's been my favorite episode so far.
100%, yeah. Pete, the media, like the journalists that have had the screeners, have all said before the show started, episode 3 is the best one. Well, there's no way I'm going to agree with that. And then having to dodge this, like the internet around this show for a week without actually getting anything spoiled, and then people going, "It's the best one. You're gonna love it. It's the best." And I'm like, "There's no way." Watch it, sat down, cried my eyes out for about a good 20 minutes after.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I understand now.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a. The way it was structured, like the time jumps were awesome. It was kind of jarring in some places, but it was like I think it was meant to be that way.
Yeah, possibly.
But I mean, I don't think I have any real critiques of. I don't think there's really any negatives for that episode at all.
No, it might be one of the few perfect episodes of TV.
Yeah.
Like it's up there with what's that Breaking Bad episode?
The Fly or thing.
Fly, yeah. Fly or the Box Cutter one, right? It's
Box Cutter,
out of those two, like it's up there with I know people don't like the Fly episode. No, and I never understood why, because that thing is just like it's immaculate. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, I loved it. And I hold that show pretty high, and I'm starting to hold this show right up there in the pantheon of great TV.
I will admit, I'm slightly worried about this show. Slightly, because we've had this season 2 announcement, right? We know they're doing that, and they've gone. Season 2 is going to be following the events of the second game, which means these 10 episodes have to do the full game, and maybe the DLC, which is a bit of a Ellie-centric. I think it's a prequel.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a prequel. Yeah. So, and we're only, where episode 5 is going to be. I'm like, you got a lot to cover.
Well,
for the next 5 episodes, and I'm kind of.
I think episode 4 kind of cherry picks from the DLC and some of the second game, if I'm remembering correctly.
No.
Someone told me
that's all. That's very much all.
I'm wrong.
At least from my memory, right? But we'll get to the second one. I'm going to split this into 2 bits because I want to focus on 3 and 4. But
yeah.
But speaking of, taking it from the games, this episode works very much in your favor from the conversation we had last time about adaptation.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Because this changed a bit.
Yeah.
And this very much separate the people from, the ones who caught on to the subtleties from the game and actually pay attention to details, and the ones who didn't. Right, because the game never explicitly states Bill and Frank are gay. It never says it. In fact, if you misstate, you can be like, they were just friends. They were brothers, right? They were just two friends. Guys who were very close, being self-sufficient and self-sustaining in the apocalypse. But
I think
very much gay.
Yeah, well, I think it goes back to what I was saying last time. I think they needed to change it a little bit and expand on some of the characters, they did it with Bill and Frank, obviously, and I think it works in the show's favor.
From my memory, I don't remember ever seeing. Well, that's a lie. You do very much see Frank, but he's hanging from a tree.
Yeah.
The most part is it's all you're walking through the town from Joel's perspective. And it's like, this is all Bill's doing, and then Bill is this crazy old guy on his own. And you then you give him the letter from Frank.
Yeah.
So they do stick to a lot.
I think they take
from the game, but there's the letters for Joel, not for Bill, and it's for whoever finds it, probably Joel.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
But I think they needed to do stuff like that to, because I think 1-to-1 translations don't work at all. I think especially when you're adapting stuff, it's like you have to change things. It's just the nature of television and movies. I think once you start,
I'll say this is going to be sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you there. This is going to be a constant conversation because this show, the first 2 are 1-for-1 translations, right? So, and it does work. But on the flip side of that, you can look at something like, this is going to be a horrendous example of people, the Ghost in the Shell movie, right? It's not directly 1-for-1, but neither The Last of Us, the first 2 aren't directly 1-for-1 either. There's bits cut out. You're not spending 90% of the show watching Joel make a shiv.
Right? Yeah.
Now, the Ghost in the Shell movie is very much the original movie.
Yeah.
But they cherry pick some stuff from the TV series and the sequel movie. I think, because the Puppet Masters or the Laughing Man's the villain, isn't he? Yeah. So that's a very good example of a translation not working. But this is a very good example of a translation working.
But I think what what I'm talking about is it has to be a 50-50 now. You can translate it, sure, but not the whole. You can't take the game and just translate it into the TV show verbatim, just straight out.
No, because obviously it's different medium, right? You have to change how certain things are.
But also, you don't get episodes like episode 3, if you do. Episode 3 expands on characters that you only spend like minutes with in the game.
I know you spend a lot of time with Bill. A lot of time.
Okay, you spend a lot of time with Bill, but you don't spend an hour and a half with Bill in the total, right? In the game, you're like that whole episode.
I'd argue it's more because the nature of games, right? Because the
okay,
jumping ahead a little bit, right? There's 2 characters you meet at the end of the 4th episode. Right, you spend a lot of time with them, and it's granted there's a more action heavy part of the game, so that you can condense that into an episode, which they're going to condense it to episode anyway. But
you don't get Frank's story, or
no, you can very much miss Frank's story, but
you don't you don't get even if you did that, you still don't get that 3rd episode.
You don't. Which granted, the show does give you the character development Bill very much needed in the game, right? But at the same time, it's
I don't know. Maybe we'll jump around. I don't know, but I love how the whole episode was structured in general.
100%.
The going back in time, them kind of foretelling what's going to happen next in the next scene. Like when they had that scene with Tess and Joel with Bill and Frank, Joel goes, "You're gonna get attacked," or they're gonna get through. And then the next scene is them, the Raiders coming in trying to. I loved it, And then you go,
and then of course Bill gets shot, and it's Frank who ends up on his deathbed. It's like, oh,
yeah. Well, the best thing about this is I don't normally like that type of structure in a movie because it can get really jarring and kind of confusing.
No, I'm with you. Yeah.
But this really works, and not only because of that, the way it was filmed and the way it was structured, it's the characters' dialogue was very interesting. You really, I think people of the game might like it because it's you see a character that you really like, but you don't get a lot of development in the game. You just get a name. You possibly get a little bit of backstory, but this is it's just a total origin of those 2 characters, and it works. Yeah. It's in some TV or movie, it might not even work. It might just slow the pace down completely. But I don't know how they do it, but they did.
I was gonna say it was a bold choice, right? Because the whole premise of this episode is Joel needs a car.
Yeah,
we need a car. We need some resources. We need some supplies. I know a guy, and then here's the you're not even gonna see them, or Joel's never gonna see Joel see them again. These 2 are absolutely done, but hey, here's their story. Here's the story of this house and the place that he's going to.
It's
they could have done in the game, but it would never. The pacing would have been weird because you'd have had a flashback, and then you would have gone back to playing the game, then another flashback, and then playing the game.
I don't know, and the best part of the episode, I've heard people use the word woke a lot, and sometimes out of context.
Yeah, I don't care about those people. They can.
Well, I think it's just you get over it, man. That's just how it is, man.
Because I kind of alluded to those earlier, right? They're the people that didn't pay attention to the game a decade ago, when the game's very clear about their relationship. The game's also very clear about Ellie's sexuality, right?
Yeah.
She's not straight. She's very much not straight. But no one said a word back then. But now people were going to be calling it Logan.
It's a different time,
Yeah, the word that just needs to not be part of the conversation, personally.
Well, unfortunately, there have been people in power that uses this stuff as a negative, and it's kind of permeated in the public. Now it's, I don't know. I just look at it as if you don't like it, don't watch it. It's not,
But then they don't like anything, so you won't get any. They don't have anything.
You can't make everybody happy. You do.
No.
People make things what they love. You put it out there. If people like it, they don't. If they don't, go ahead, waste your time, make fun of it. Yell into the void, whatever. That's your right. But I think sometimes it goes a little bit over the line, but that's just how it is nowadays, where there's no, just seems like the imaginary line keeps moving and moving further and further, but anyways, I think it works. I think, man, I read somewhere that Nick Offerman wasn't the first person that was cast as Bill.
No,
So
he wasn't. He was someone. It was someone else. And for the life of me, I can't remember who it was.
I can't
But
remember it is.
thank
He's a character
God,
actor,
thank
but it was like,
God, it was Offerman. Because
I've always been a fan of Nick Offerman. I think he's been a lot of things. I mean, from like he's known for Parks and Rec, but like like he's done a lot of different a lot of different stuff, and like he has the range of a football field. I mean, the guy can do anything. And like
after this episode, yeah, I agree. That Matt can do anything. Absolutely.
I mean, it is true though. I mean, like if you go back and look at his IMDb, it's like you'd be amazed what he's been in and the stuff that it doesn't necessarily meet what you think that guy is good at, and like he's just a great actor. I mean, like, and you can tell, like, you can look at him throughout the episode and see the pain that the character's going through. It's like, like even from the beginning where he feels like he's happy being alone all the way to the end,
Yeah. But I'd also, Offerman can only go so you can, a character or an actor can only go so far, right? Murray Bartlett, who was Frank, he's just as good.
Oh no! It was. I
didn't realize he was in the Chippendale show on Disney Plus, as well as White Lotus season 1, which I have both watched recently, and those 3 things, he's not the same in any of them. That guy can act his ass off, and he brought it here.
Oh yeah, he's the second part of the equation. I mean, like, it's the perfect storm with the 2 characters and the 2 actors put together. They don't get that very often.
It's kind of annoying that you're not going to see these 2 again. It's like, no, bring them back.
I mean,
if you're going to deviate from the game, keep these 2 alive.
I to be honest with you, I like it. I like it the way it is, and you don't want the characters to overstay their welcome. And I think this is the perfect. You get an hour and a half with those characters.
Hour and 13.
Hour and 13 minutes with.
You got to take away the adverts because.
But I mean, I think that's if you put everything together in a TV show or movie, you'd be amazed like how much character time each person gets, and like I think you get it. I think these people probably get more than probably the main actors, when you combine everything. I don't know, I think it's a perfect length of time to have. You get it from A to B. You get it from beginning of their relationship all the way to the end of the relationship. I don't think you can ask for anything more. I think Bill's character could come back in a way like that's smart, maybe letters or tapes or something like that. Well, I mean, like, but you can
unless I think if you go, oh yeah, Bill didn't, unalive
I'm saying
himself along with Frank. That's gonna absolutely
no. That's not what I mean. I mean, you could bring the character back in tapes to Joel that he finds.
Oh, I suppose, that's fair enough.
But I mean, to bring the character back is kind of like, I think you're gonna undo everything that episode 3 did if you did something like that. I think, as much as you'll love the characters more if they're in there less, and I think this is the perfect. It's like a full circle, character development, for those 2. So,
absolutely agree.
But yeah, it's like literally. I think I watched that episode twice. When it first dropped.
Because I only watched it literally yesterday. I'm not strong enough to watch it again right now. When the show's finished, I will absolutely go back, or even in time for the finale. Right, I'm gonna go back and watch it all. Right now, nah, can't do it.
It definitely kind of hit it, but I think that's the whole point of the episode. Is like that's the whole point of the show. If you get down to the core, it's like the relationships are, like you're gonna have the same.
Oh yeah.
By the end of the season, you're probably gonna have the same feelings for another character. That you're gonna have to like. It might be painful to watch the whole season. Who knows?
I mean, I assume I know exactly where they go.
But I don't want to like. I try not to spoil. But like I think.
Well, this is the tricky thing, right? The game's 10 years old. The plot of this thing is a decade old. Most people are going to know. Well, I say most. Anyone who's played the game's going to know roughly where they're heading, right? And there is very much an ending to this game where it can't deviate. If they deviate from it, then I am interested to see how they do a different ending, because it's not The Last of Us without that ending.
well, I think what I was talking about last time, I don't want to deviate from the main plot, but you can do stuff like this. This is more what I was talking about, expanding tertiary characters. And
I think this is fine, because to me it's.
But
I'm not entirely sure if I can call it. Obviously, spoilers, because Spoilercast, right? Bill dying before meeting Ellie is a change, right? But Bill always died anyway, from what I remember. I'm certain Bill dies. So it was always it's the character's end goal is the same. Obviously, the circumstances are different, and if you're going to make it more explicit and make sure people are aware fully that these two are gay, then it would make more sense for him to die before.
This is what I meant by the conversation I was having last time. Is like you can make these subtle changes to the story and not deviate. Like the end goal of the show can be the same as the game, but you can kind of deviate here and there, right? Kind of weave in and out of the story, give characters more development than the game could possibly give. Like who knows? Like, I would like to see stuff like with Tommy when he gets to that point.
Oh, we'll get stuff with Tommy. Don't worry about that.
But I mean, like just a little bit of time we had with the character at the beginning, and then the conversation between Joel and Ellie in the car. The character backstory could be very interesting. And like you could go back and tell it in a way that is like episode 3. I still like, and I was talking at work with somebody, is like, this is how you do flashback stories, in my opinion. Like this is probably the perfect way. Like so many shows and movies do these flashbacks, and it's kind of really, really jarring, and it's like, but like this show really nails it, and the aesthetic and the script. I mean, the dialogue is perfect. I mean, like,
there's not a single bad thing about this episode. It's kind of nuts.
I mean, if you ask me what scene was my favorite, I couldn't nail it down, like, because it just all kind of worked, And
see, I've got I think I have got a favorite scene.
I mean, I could pull one out of a hat, but like it's hard, because if you
it's very hard. I agree with you there, but I think the standout shot is that last dinner, right?
Yeah.
It's I'm beautiful. Old. I'm satisfied. Like even just saying that, I'm like, oh, I can't say it properly.
Well, that last scene kind of brings the whole story full circle, right? The characters started at a dinner, and it ends at a dinner, and it like.
Well, it ends in the sack.
But like we've already, but like if I had to pull a scene out, was probably the scene with Joel and then Bill talking, and then it just cuts to the scene that alludes to what Joel was saying. Like they're coming, they could come for you. You need to do this. But I think that was the perfect transition. Like it didn't confuse me. It didn't. Question like even if you told me, I can't remember if they did the cards were what year it was or how many years passed after that conversation.
No, they only did it for the time jumps from Bill and Frank,
like the big ones. But like it still didn't confuse me when that happened. It just, to me, it felt like a month later or two. that happen. You know, it didn't really. I didn't had no problem with it. It was great.
Yeah, I also really appreciated the shot and like the final shot of the as they're leaving, where it's the window, and it's like very much that's the Last of Us. Like, if you had to pick a single shot for the Last of Us to, to show anyone, like, oh, cool, it's the Last of Us. It's a window shot, and specifically one like that is very much their aesthetic. It's like perfect.
Then I did love towards the end, like when Joel and Ellie showed up. It's like Joel had like he knew something was up, when the grass was not trimmed and you walk in.
Yeah, he sees the flower
like,
bowl in the front garden. It's like something's not right here.
he gets that look in his face, the same look that he got when he knew Tess, when Tess sacrificed her, and like you can tell Paige. I mean, I'll give it up to the makeup people. It looks like that guy is run down. Like he looks like he's been running ragged for years, and he's burning the candle at both ends. And it's like every moment, every dialogue, you can tell that the life is being sucked out of him. Just slowly, and until I think the next episode where you kind of see that life come back to him.
He finally has a shower.
But I mean,
even though that was this episode, but it's
Then I did like the letter that Bill left, to whomever it was, but probably Joel. I never really liked you, but I respected you. It's like that again, that scene with him at the dinner table talking is like you could tell that there was a little trust issues, but like you could tell that Bill respected Joel, and there was a mutual respect, and I love that, because like some movies or some TVs, like by the end of that they're like, oh, I respect you, I like you, you're my friend, but here it's like, we weren't friends, but I respected you, and it's been
he was the closest thing to being a friend that you could
and like Frank changed Bill, but not his personality. He changed him for the better, but he also retained some of that like prepper, mentality, which I loved. I just loved the whole episode. I can't really say much more.
Which, by the way, the whole you think the government and Nazis, it's like they are. It's like, no, but not then.
a little bit of Ron Swanson came out, and that.
That'd be cool. I love that dialogue. It's like, but they are now. It's like, but they weren't. There's a difference.
But he's like the perfect. That was the perfect, I think, choice for that character.
I'd say that they were both perfectly cast. This show has yet to give me, bar from one, which we'll get into in a second. I'm not too sure about, but up until episode 3, there's not been a single bad casting. It is all spot on. I know people wanted like Nathan Fillion for Joel, but like the dude, no, Pascal.
Nathan.
Perfect.
Everybody wants Nathan Fillion's like what, 50, closing on 60 years
but
old.
Pascal's not that far off, is he? No, he's
in his
how old is
late 40s, maybe. I don't know, but like I like Nathan Fillion, but he can't be he's not the Idris Elba of this. He can't be everywhere.
Pascal's 47.
Yeah,
he's slightly
but
younger than I thought.
I'll be honest with you. I don't want to burst anybody's bubble about Nathan Fillion, so I won't. But I don't know. Let him.
Let Pascal cook. No, Nathan Fillion is cool, and I get why people want him. Right? I think it was Nathan Fillion people wanted for Joel.
I think it's just the aesthetic, man. They can't.
It's the white guy of video games, right? Like everyone looks like Fillion. It's just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I get it, but like it's like the casting is not Nathan Fillion. It was Pedro Pascal. I think it's not a wrong decision.
Perfect.
It's not. Yeah, it's not wrong.
Perfect.
Like if they
even though it is funny, like I think it was episode 2 where you first see the clickers. He's like holding the gun. He does a little Mando.
Yeah,
I'm like, you just filmed Mandalorian, I can tell.
I saw Grogu on the side.
It's just like, it's like Grogu grew up. Now
I don't know.
Go down.
I don't know if you saw the Saturday Night Live when he hosted.
I've seen bits of it. I have not seen all of it, and I keep meaning to watch it, but it looks fantastic.
Like with SNL, I just watch clips, on YouTube, their YouTube channel. But like, yeah, he is exactly like that in real life. Like, I've only met him like a couple times, and like, the guy's like an actor. He's like probably one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood now. I think, like.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, everyone loves him, but he's so underappreciated.
He really is, man. Like, he's in some of the biggest properties now, and yet people still don't want to cast him in things. Like, I don't know.
That's because Wonder Woman 84 did a lot of damage. Like, talk about wasting a guy. That movie.
Well, that's not his fault. Okay, that is the.
I mean, he agreed to the movie. It's kind of.
Oh, I mean, a lot of people get promised a lot of things in meetings, and
it's
then
true.
always come.
Though, in fairness to him, he was the best part of that movie. Was that?
Yeah,
not
but
saying
I think,
much.
I mean, for me, it didn't ding him. Like, everybody makes a stinker every once in a while.
He's human. It's just a reminder that he's human. No one's perfect.
But I mean,
he's fallible. He's not God. He might seem like it, but he's not.
But I think it always comes down to if you're having fun, it doesn't matter. And he looks like he's having fun on that movie, man.
Oh, he had to get through the workday somehow, right?
I mean, you had to have a sense of humor to have.
Just like, oh God, what have I done? No.
Gotta get back to Star Wars.
But what were you gonna say, sorry?
No, I'm old. I had a fleeting thought. Completely forgot what I was gonna say. So
fair enough. Well, we will now move on to episode 4, which I'm gonna say right off the bat. I feel sorry for this episode. It had to follow episode 3. It's nowhere near as good. This is very much a lull in the show, but it was no means bad.
Yeah, I think it was just I feel like it's a transition between a palate cleanser. I hate using that word, but that's exactly what it feels like.
I think, yeah. It still had the good moments, right, with the dynamic between Ellie and Joel, like evolving and growing. Like, you're starting to see the cracks in the old man, right? He's very much. He has that look of resentment. He's like, "Don't act like my kid. Like, don't make me do that." Don't.
But on the flip side, he's starting to warm up to her. He's starting to kind of like. By the end of the episode, he's kind of becoming a parental unit that he is in the game. By the end, so and it had to happen at some point in the show because you're halfway through this. You're going to be like, how many episodes is it? Like 6 or something like that, or 8?
It's 10.
10? Okay. Well, you're still almost halfway through the season.
Well, it's 9 or 10. I'm pretty certain it's 10. I'm hoping it's 10, but we'll find.
But I mean, he's got to start evolving a little bit, and like probably this is a perfect episode to kind of get to that start that.
Oh yeah, this when they reach, what was it? Massachusetts or whatever.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, I can't pronounce that word for the sake of my life. That Massachusetts.
People just call him Mass.
Yeah, Mass. Yeah, it's my Shire for you Americans, right? Like, you can't say like Worcestershire or like.
I was gonna say like that's my moment. I can't.
Despite the Americans having North Hampshire and stuff like that, they can't say sheer for the English one.
I still hamster, so
it's just like Shire. So it's completely off topic. My favorite like Americanism for a Shire word I saw on TikTok, and this guy pronounced the Worcestershire sauce as Roy's sister Cherie, and I just died. I'm like, it's like, who's Roy's sister Cherie? Like, God damn.
Are you talking
absolutely
code or something?
It killed me. Every now and then I just think of it. It's like Roy's sister Cherie. That's funny. But anyway,
I can't say anything, man.
Back to The Last of Us, episode 4. Definitely my least favorite character introduced here. I can't remember if she's in the game or not, but she's very weird here. It seems.
Well, isn't there a deviation from the game here? I mean,
slightly.
Her motivation to get I forgot.
I'll be perfectly honest. I actually can't remember her from the game. I didn't even play the game that long ago. It was a couple of years, but it wasn't my favorite. But yeah, I can't remember her specifically, to be honest. But I don't think they've chosen the right actress here. I don't buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's entirely my fault, right? Because I haven't seen her in much, but the only things, the thing that stands out to me the most, no, I haven't seen Yellow Jackets. It's 2.5 Men.
You got to get past that.
But it's the last thing. It's the last thing I've watched that I've seen her in, really, that I can remember.
I would say watch Yellow Jackets and then come back to this.
Look, I've only just started Succession, right? I need to know.
Well, just watch a couple episodes of Yellow Jacket just to get a taste of what, like, because the character in Yellow Jacket, if you watch that, I honestly think you'll change your tune about who the casting of the
I mean, possibly, but from what they gave here, I'm not really buying the actress in that role.
I'm on the flip side. I see it as like I buy her. I feel like she's using an excuse to. I mean, look, they go to the basement and there's something coming out from that ground, and we all know. We all know what that is, right?
Everyone knows what it is.
And she instead of taking care of that problem, she's going after two people that she's trying to pin the murder of her. She's using these people to. I mean, it's a classic case of like let's rally the people through a cause and then to get what I want, type of
thing. It's like a dumb revenge plot. Not dumb as in the plot is dumb. It's the revenge,
it's a revenge.
Is always dumb. Like.
But I mean, when I watched this episode, and one book really came to mind when I read a book in high school called Animal Farm.
I love that book. Yeah, it's very much is that. Book. Yeah.
And like you can tell that it feels like they pulled a lot of that of the I don't know if people in the audience have read the book. It's basically the animals revolt against the farmers, take over the farmers, and then like they start becoming the farmer, like indistinguishable between the humans and like the pigs.
It's very much like the promise of socialism gets twisted into communism. Not communism. What are we in now? Capitalism and dictatorships and all that is. Which,
and you see that
my understanding of that book is it's like required reading for schools, but that was a long time ago at this point, so I don't know if it's changed.
Well, when I was in high school, we were required to read that book, and it's like probably one of my favorite books. I go back and reread it every once in a while because it's such a permanent thing. And today, I mean, you can take that story and place it in any point in U.S. history or history itself, because there's always been people that.
I say any political structure, right? It's universally relevant for everything, and a lot of things do take from it. Right? It's just,
but
the staple of storytelling.
You see a little bit of what the hunters are from that book.
Yeah,
like if you've read that book, I mean, I can't say for everybody, but that's what instantly sprung in my mind when I watched this episode.
I can agree with you there. I can agree.
I am literary, maybe can't say it, but I can.
You are literate. Ironically,
yes.
The wrong word.
I am literally, yes. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think I fall on the other side of the fence, so that I kind of enjoyed this, and I did really buy her. She seems twisted. I mean, that's coming from a person that has seen Yellow Jackets. So like I can't.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a case of I haven't seen her in enough, but it's and it's just jarring to go from one to another. But there's something about how she was in this I just wasn't necessarily buying. I'm like, okay, this might be the first not fumble of the show, but it's not my favorite bit so far. Like everything else in the episode I really enjoyed, and it's nice that they're hinting at it being the bloaters underneath, or at least it's obviously infected, right? But the way it was moving, like the ripple, it's got to be a bloater. that thing gonna go pop.
Did they show that in the trailers, like the bloaters itself? Or
No, they did. They didn't show a lot of the infected in the trailers, but I think you might have seen like the sinkhole in the trailers. But I can't remember. I didn't watch a lot of the marketing for this. I saw the first thing and I was like, cool, I'm in. No more. You so sold me.
When it comes to marketing, I don't care. I just love watching it. That's what really gets me hyped about stuff. So it's like I end up watching.
I'm saying I'm really funny. I think I'm definitely, before I used to be, I have to watch everything. I want to watch everything. But now I'm like, if you can get me on the first thing, I haven't got to watch anything else. Just let me know when the date is to get tickets or to record it.
And I'll be there.
Yeah. And it's like, I think that's part of doing this whole thing right. Like, I don't want to burn myself out. And part of that is just scaling back on the intake of everything. But who knows?
Yeah.
I find myself enjoying a lot, like, things more at this point. Not that I struggled to enjoy things before, but I'm enjoying it. It's nice to have a surprise, you know. Like if I go and search for a spoiler, cool. If I want to know, I'll go find it. But if not, I'm good at watching one thing and maybe the ticket announcement trailers. But that's it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I miss the days where I didn't know nothing. Sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm okay with knowing a lot. I'm fine. I've accepted that.
I miss it. I miss not knowing certain things. You know, like.
Well, we could always swap places.
I mean, sure, if you don't mind getting pummeled by two kids every day. So.
I mean, not that part, right? Like, that's
it's
not my
nothing,
not my wheelhouse.
It's all or nothing, Mitch. You know,
like if you want to see them again, then I suggest you accept that that's not part of it.
I love them, but I need a break. Okay.
Because
mentally
I can't promise the sun might get slightly bigger. Like the sun, as in the big fireball in the sky, like not the actual show. No. Something might get punted. So,
I mean,
I'm not good with
kids.
It has to do
with the kids. They'll probably punt you across the streets.
I'd like to see them try.
No,
I'd like to see them try.
I have a big 4-year-old.
Anyway, back to the show before this gets demonetized for child abuse.
Like,
sorry, Google.
Different type of demonetization.
Like not real life. Like I wouldn't punt a kid in real life. I promise. Like to make that abundantly clear.
We avoided curse words, but yeah, we fell into another trap.
Yeah, we have. It's been 45 minutes according to this, so we've done very well. Very, very well. It's
I
probably
am
not
impressed
45
with myself.
minutes. Yeah. I've said damn a couple of times, but that's my brain having to use that word because it's the only word I can use.
I almost said the F word, so I stopped myself.
Oh, yeah, don't do that. God.
I stopped myself mid-sentence. But
anyways, they changed because I like talking about the changes, right? I think it's an interesting conversation to have. They changed slightly the whole, like she shoots the guy.
Yeah.
Right, because in the game she outright kills him, and then it's the oh my god, I just took a guy's life. In this, she shoots him. It's not her first time.
Yeah.
But she's still obviously emotionally affected by it because she's a kid. Of course, you're going to be like affected by it.
Yeah.
Also, his reaction to it as well. I think in the game he gets really mad. In here, he's like, you know what? Like he's a bit more accepting of the fact that it was the right move for her to like have that gun. Like he's accepting the fact that it's good to have backup because he's not perfect. He is old and all this stuff. Whereas in the game, it's like, no, you're a kid. You can't do that. You disobeyed me. Blah, 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 blah. He's a bit more of an arsehole, right? But hopefully I can say that.
But I'm hopeful. I mean, I think he realizes like, I'm gonna yell at you or, chew you out. But it's like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
He's doing the parent. That's I think the evolution of the parent thing. The dynamic. He's like, I can see a parent going, blah 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 blah, and like, oh, but thank you for doing that.
Well, it's because you're mad at yourself, right? You have to take it. You have to vocalize and get those emotions out of somehow. But it's like, I'm not mad at you. I'm shouting at you because I'm mad at myself. But
and he definitely does that in the show, where he's like very hard on himself, and he's like, I'm not going to make the same mistakes twice with her. But yet,
though ironically
he does. Yeah. But I mean, it's human, right? Like you can't avoid making
mistakes.
Yeah. So, but he, in his mind,
well, he could have, because he could have quite easily have slept on the other side of his head. but
yeah. But no, that's the other thing about the game that's changed with the hearing loss. I like that.
no, I
very
think
much.
that's in the game.
Is it or how it
I think so.
was?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I
Put it away. I want to say it is, but I couldn't be certain because I think that's a little moment, right? And it's the little moments that I'm struggling to remember. But I really want to say that's in the game.
Yeah, we should definitely get someone that play the game to come on with us. So
I mean, I have played it. Like, it's just I wasn't as enamored with it as everyone else. I left it so long, and it's not burned into my skull. Also, I've only played it the once because I don't think those games have that much replayability. Because spoilers, the gameplay sucks in those games.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, the game
is so bad.
The thing about those games is like it's so repetitive. Like not repetitive, but it's like it takes so long to do certain things. It's like if this really was happening in the show, I think I would have been sleeping by middle of this.
Oh
show.
yeah, like this is the whole translating from one medium to another, right? Like the whole argument of how do you make a game work in live action? Because part of the game is the experience of playing it, whereas you don't get that in a show, and you can't have these long, very obvious loading screens with dialogue in a show. You can have the dialogue, but you need a new context for it. Something's got to be happening.
Yeah, like it's always been the problem with translating games, anyways. It's like, you're like, how do you translate those moments of choice, correctly? And I mean, at the end of the day, I think you just don't. You just.
Yeah, because this makes me really. I'm not entirely sure if someone's picked. I think Amazon have picked up Mass Effect. If that's the case, like or if they haven't, like, how does that work? Because that game relies so much on the choices you make. Like, they've either got to settle down, and people have got to grit their teeth. And like, hey,
I honestly do not envy the person that has to do the writing for that.
I mean, for two reasons, right? A, you have to respect everyone's choices in that game because they're limited choices, but people have different endings that they like and whatnot.
Yeah.
B,
and like
if you do it well, you have to tackle the third game. God help you with that one. God help you with that one, because that's
good. I say to that person,
like
good luck. Don't go crazy, and don't go on the internet to look at people's comments.
No, but with this show and how well they've done, please try and tackle that series, because it needs to be done. That game. I think if any game needs to be done, Mass Effect needs a live action like retelling.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and not to be on a side tangent, but I think a game like that needs to definitely rely on cherry picking and like, I always
obviously,
like,
inherently you got a cherry pick, right? Because you have to pick a plot and outcomes and stuff, so you have to cherry pick regardless.
I think it also, the game like that is like, you're gonna have to, like, I think you're gonna have to do stuff different than the game. Like, it kind of inherently.
I mean, sure, take out the whole, keep Ashley, but don't make her a racist. That no one liked space racist Ashley. Let's not do that bit, because she was. Oh boy,
sure
she
Ashley's
was
around the world would love that. So.
She was something else in that game. Wow. But anyway, back to this.
Yeah. We'll tackle that.
Whole different. It's a whole different tangent, that one. Justice for the Krogans in that game, by the way. If they make that a show and they don't save the Krogans, then I'm having words, because.
Well, I mean, in this day and age, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a movement, right?
Very well could be.
I never played the game, so.
They're fantastic.
It's a lot of it's
it is
about time.
Granted, it's a lot of time, a lot of
I mean,
a lot of nothing in those games, but the things you do, they're fantastic. The story.
Yeah.
And Martin Sheen still exists. He's still living with us. So please, before he goes, we need the man back.
For me, it just comes down to like, I'm not 25 and don't have responsibilities. So like the games.
I mean,
like
give
that
it a
are
few
just-
years, right? The kids to be out, and then you got all the time in
Yeah.
the world.
When they're out in high school, out in college, I'm gonna just spend my retirement years playing, catching up with these games. Yeah.
Exactly.
By then,
see, that's living the
PS26 will
dream
come
right
out.
there. Well, yeah, who might be? might be a PS7. Depends.
With updated graphics and re-release on like greatest hits disc, you know, like
It'll be beamed into your skull. But,
I mean, sure. I have a lot of things beamed in my skull. Why not this? Anyway,
back to the episode.
I like the episode.
I liked it. Obviously, I haven't got much to say about it as I did episode 3 because I think
episode
it's
3 is pinnacle for me.
Yeah, it's hard. It's unfortunate that this had to follow it, but it's a necessary. I've heard.
Yeah.
I think it was Kind of Funny's review of it, and one of them was going, you got to have. You have a peak, you have to have a valley, right?
Yeah.
And a valley is not necessarily a bad thing. This is the valley because, with Sam and Henry coming into, I think it's Sam and Henry. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Sam and Henry.
With Sam and Henry, like that section of the game is incredibly action orientated. It's very action heavy. Like, there's a lot of plot, but it's very like action focused. So you need that valley to go to the peak.
Not only that, it's just gonna get that much more depressing. You can do it, so get ready.
Yeah. Because spoilers for The Last of Us, you meet people, they die.
All I can say is
you meet people, they die.
All I can say is I've been told to talk to a therapist after like watching the show. Like schedule an appointment ahead of time.
I say
and just...
the one thing this show has made me fear, I'm worried about how they're going to tackle the rest of the game in the limited episodes we have left, right? But after what they've done with Bill and Frank, I'm terrified. Absolutely terrified for what comes next and to who.
A good way or a bad way?
In a bad way, because I'm emotionally scarred. I'm fragile enough as it is.
Well, I think if they make by the end of the season, if it makes you feel that emotional, I think the job has been done.
100%. Yeah. I'm not saying like in a bad way for the show. It's a bad way for me, because it doesn't.
And your therapist.
The sneaky gits, right? They've made. I can name which one's which. The kid. He was using ASL. That's a change from the game. Now, that's gonna make it. My brain's just thinking of how you can make what happens in the game worse, and that's making it worse.
That is definitely making it worse.
And I'm just like, oh no, you're gonna do the thing, and it's gonna be horrendous. Like, I'm not looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to it because this show is proving that it can handle stuff like that. But.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you feel. It's doing its job correctly. If it makes you feel, I think after.
Oh yeah, it's definitely doing its job. Yeah,
it's doing its job. It's making me feel the feels and the emotions, and like I these are make believe characters, but yet I feel like for the every one of them. I mean, including Joel. Joel, I think again, you don't get that with Nathan Fillion. I'm sorry, no offense to Nathan Fillion fans, you're not going to get that range of acting that you're getting with Pedro Pascal. You're just not. And it's not anything. It's not a slight against Nathan Fillion, but Pedro Pascal is a great actor.
It's just a matter of life in it. Some actors are better than others.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm pleased with what I'm seeing so far. I was just talking with a friend of mine. I was like, man, this is like, it took him. I mean, like the Sonic, like we talked about the first episode. I think Sonic really kind of cracked the mold a little bit with video game movies.
Yeah,
this is just shattering it. Shattering the molds right now.
Yeah.
It proves that you can translate a game in a good way, and two, you're taking a really hard game to translate and they're doing it really well. And
because I haven't seen a single shiv be crafted, and it's like, is this The Last of Us without crafting a shiv?
Yeah.
Oh boy, 90% of that game is you just crafting ships.
I mean, it's like if you did that in the game, I mean, in the show, you would be bored. How long does it take to do
I mean, obviously, it'd be incredibly boring, right? You just see this hunched over Pascal just crafting a ship every 5 minutes. But
detailed instructions on how to, create a wooden ship. It's like, man.
But I'm desperately hoping this game shows him crafting a ship at one point. Just to acknowledge it, right? Just for me, I want to see Pascal making a ship and breaking lockpicks and
I see it
using pipes that bend and break.
I mean, you got a little bit of that in the second episode, right? I mean, a little bit.
A little bit. I
mean,
you got a little bit of the gameplay in the second episode, the whole clickers bit, but apart from that, come on, just do a shiv.
But I think they wanted to get past these especially episode 3, and then you get onto the homages. I think towards the end of the season, you're going to get a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just.
I mean, it's going to need it for the finale because oh boy,
I am here for it. Yeah.
I know. Very very excited for this show. It's there's not been a single bad thing about it. Maybe. This actress could be the only nitpick I have so far, but I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt and see how they take it and where it goes.
Well, I think that just comes from the fact that you've only seen one side of her acting.
Yeah, but it's a very prominent one, and it's the majority of what she's done.
I bet you every person on that show is like that. They're like, I wish I'd never been in this stupid show.
Possibly. Very possibly.
John Cryer probably lost his hair because of the show.
Well, it's like Jennifer Coolidge, right? She was always done the one thing. Yes, admittedly, White Lotus, she's playing a version of herself that she normally plays, but you can tell there's a bit more range in there somewhere. She still wants that hot dog really bad. But I wasn't about to do an impression there. Just everyone worrying about that. I can't.
She was good in that other Netflix thing. I forgot what it was called. But
she was because I watched it as well.
I forgot. It was based on a true thing, a true crime show.
Yeah.
But she was really good in that too. I think. But if you give the person the right role and the right, I think, and this I'm saying it again. I think Monica's. I forgot her last name. I want to say Lewinsky, but it's definitely not Lewinsky.
No. And you say Monica, and I think of Friends. I'm like,
but I think the Yellow Jacket is a very good. I mean, she's done a lot of things before that have been.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I think that show shows what she could do. It has a little bit of the character. From what I've seen of the character in this episode, has a lot of that DNA from that show. That show is messed up, and they are every actress in that show, great. Some of them are like her, where you're like, man, I did not know she could do stuff like this. But she's been in some pretty weird stuff that doesn't really don't really associate her with, but I think the stink of that show is still on the actors.
I mean,
or it could be the tiger blood that she drank. I don't know. I don't know.
What a reference. There's people probably watching this that weren't alive when that was a thing. Like that.
Google Charlie Sheen tiger blood. It will trip. Don't do any drugs while you watch those interviews. But man, that guy is nuts.
That's one of the original memes. Was Charlie Sheen, and I adore that. What a fantastic timing that was.
Oh my god,
that was a fun couple of years.
Because you even if you weren't up and up on this stuff, man, you were. Anytime you've seen him in an interview, it was, man, you're always like, what did he do? Did he do an 8-ball before he did this interview?
Yeah.
He's talking about what? Wizards and Tiger Blood? What?
So for me, it was a fun time. Probably not for him, but that was good. Time.
I mean,
good memory. Core memory. That one. Very core. Definitely core memory.
Yes, and I'm sure he's regretting it too because he's out of the spotlight for a long time.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Oh no, I'm sure his billions are running dry. Oh no. But yeah, I have a slight thing I change about this show, but I'm going to hold it off until we talk about the series as a whole, because I want to see how they handle everything so far. And it's just like, mate, it's not even a criticism. It's just like, I wonder if it would have worked like this. But that's, if I remember it, we'll talk about that later down the line. So yeah, hopefully we're back next week with episode 5 and not episode 6, because it annoyed me last week. I was like, really, guys? Finish me damn TV off. I wanna watch stuff properly.
I need my TVs. Yeah.
Yeah. But work will hopefully be done soon, and I can return back to normal. And because I'm holding everything up on this channel, not everything, but all the podcasts up.
Are we getting Jared back for the last episode?
I mean, I can see if Jared wants to come on for it.
I definitely would love
to, but I can get.
Well, I mean, we can't break tradition when it comes to stuff like that, man.
I mean, he broke tradition with me already, so
that's true.
Besides, it's more the Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff. But if he wants to come on, he can come on. I'm more than open to him. I can ask him. I'll see what he says.
It'll be interesting what he has to say about the show. Like, I definitely.
As if he's been watching. I don't know if he has.
I see he's back though. Yeah, so who knows?
He is. He's very much back. I need to watch that. I keep falling asleep during. Sorry, Jared. It's nothing on you. It's more the old man trying to keep awake, and it's like I wake up and I'm like, God damn it, I've missed half of it. Like, but anyway, that's no.
The gauntlet's been thrown down.
Yeah. So we'll catch you all next week. If not, it'll be definitely the week after. So bye bye.